Welcome to our Monday, November 10th Board of Trustee meeting. If you'll all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everyone. Tonight our clerk, Martin Brook, is off on vacation this week, so we will need to just appoint a temporary clerk in his place. So I would like to open up the board for any nominations.
Make a motion that Michael Shostak be our clerk for the evening.
Support.
Okay, any other conversation or nominations? If not, I'll close it and ask for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations, Michael. You're wearing two hats tonight.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, and item number one is we open up for public comment. If you're here to public comment on any issue on the board tonight, you're welcome to come up to the podium on my right and your left and introduce yourself, your name and address, please, and we ask you to stay within a 3-minute time limit.
And I formalized those questions in an email on August 28th. I was initially told responses would be received by the week of September 8th. I followed up on September 11th and was told the township was still working on answers. I followed up again on October 1st and October 10th with no response. On October 17th, I was told my questions would be addressed by a draft memo, for which I have not received further notification. It is now November 10th. So after first raising these questions nearly 3 months ago, the only response I've seen in this evening's meeting packet, which states the subject parcel does not have any residential lots fronting on the same street within 500 feet. Frankly, I did not understand how that conclusion was reached, as there are multiple residentially zoned lots fronting on Telegraph within the zoning district and within 500 feet of the split-off lot. I also don't understand why it took nearly 3 months to be indirectly notified of such a brief and rudimentary conclusion. I want to say this as cautiously and respectfully as possible. I fully appreciate the work Township staff and officials have put into this process. However, I believe that if the lot split ordinance was applied as written, the proposed division would fail to meet one or both of the required dimensional standards. I am also still awaiting clarification on which temple lot lines are designated as front, side, and rear, as those designations directly impact setback requirements and may necessitate an additional variance. These concerns, combined with the prolonged delay and inconsistent communication, have, at least optically, given the impression of a process that may not be entirely impartial. I respectfully request that the township provide clarification as to why no comparative lots were identified for the split-off parcel, including with respect to the 2 northern lots and the remaining temple parcel itself. I also ask for this explanation to be made available well in advance of the anticipated December 8th hearing, which I understand may coincide with the final consideration of the Enclave development. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chris. And if there's no further public comment, I will close public comment and move to item number 2, consider the consent agenda. And we have items A, B, C, D, and E. And if there is no opposition, we'll...
I would like to move items A, C, D, and E from the consent agenda.
A, C, D, and E, Mark?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, can I have a motion to approve what's left?
Motion to approve option B from the consent agenda.
Support.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, passes 7-0. Thank you. All right, item number 3, introduction of Jennifer Haring, our Director of Human Resources. Welcome, Jennifer, and
Thank
just
you.
introduce
Good
yourself.
evening. I'm Jennifer Haring. I'm very happy to be here. Look forward to working with all of you. Please don't hesitate to reach out if there's anything we can connect on, and just excited to join the team.
Yeah, and you started September 15th, so it's been a couple of months, and
Yep.
so far you're finding your way around our campus and meeting a lot of people?
Yes, creating new partnerships each
Great,
day.
great. And everybody probably can figure out her email address if you want to meet her and talk about anything.
We met right before the meeting.
Perfect.
So welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Glad to have you on board.
It's nice to have you here.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, item number 4, our Transportation Alternative Program, TAP Grant 2027 Telegraph Road Safety Path. And it's our Director of Engineering, Corey. Welcome, Corey Almas.
Thank you, Board. Thanks for having me. With me here tonight is Hubble, Roth, and Clark Vice President Karen Stickle, who's going to run through a quick overview of the 2027 Telegraph Road Regional Sidewalk Connector Path Project via the Transportation Alternative Program, aka the TAP Grant. Also with us here tonight are representatives from SEMCOG, the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, Planning Director Kevin Petrino, and he'll go through his team who's here, do a nice check presentation for this project. But before I hand it over to Karen, I just wanted to do a quick overview and speak briefly about the township success with the initial TAP grant that occurred last year on Telegraph, Franklin, and Square Lake. That also included the ADA crosswalks in three locations, two of which are crossing Telegraph Road that were never there before. Because of the success of that project, we felt imperative to apply for another TAP grant that covers or the extension of the northbound Telegraph Road from Mall Drive all the way up to Golf Drive. So with that, I'm going to invite Karen to the podium to do a quick presentation of that project. Karen?
Thanks, Corey, and thanks for having me tonight. Good to see everyone. Get this started. I don't like it. So like Corey said, I'm just going to do a brief introduction to this project. The township over the years has really put an emphasis on providing safety paths throughout the township to provide safe, walkable, and accessible paths for the public, for any non-motorized users. You have a millage to pay for a lot of that, but also we like to look for other funding sources in order to continue to meet the objectives of your safety path master plan. Like Corey said, you got a TAP grant. It was awarded, I believe, in 2020. The construction was completed in 2024, and that was done around the Telegraph, Square Lake, Franklin Road area. I'm sure a lot of you have been up to see it. It looks great. It really has helped connect those areas through there. And we were looking for funding to continue that path up Telegraph Road, basically up to Gulf Drive, so the northern township limits. This is a route that was identified in your safety path master plan, and it's a pretty long route and it's pretty expensive. So had we funded it through the township millage, it probably would have taken several years to get this constructed. So getting this funding really will help push this project forward. A little bit about the TAP grant program. TAP stands for Transportation Alternative Program. It's a competitive grant. It uses federal funds for activities that enhance intermodal transportation and provide safe alternative transportation options. The minimum grant amount is $200,000. There's no maximum. The minimum match is 20%, so the township does have a 20% match for construction. This grant does only fund construction, so the township's responsible for the design engineering, construction engineering, and any right-of-way acquisition. So there is a 20% match plus all of that engineering that is involved. We applied in February of 2025 for this program. It was awarded in May of 2025, and it is for fiscal year 2027, so the construction will be in 2027. Some of the general project details, like I said, it's an installation of safety path along Telegraph Road from Mall Drive up to Golf Drive, like Corey said. It's about 1.5 miles long, almost 1.5 miles long. It's going to be 6 feet wide, with a minimum 2 foot distance between the path and roadway. It's going to connect the safety path project that was completed in 2024 under a previous TAP grant, install ADA ramps, and it's going to provide some additional smart connectivity too. This is not the easiest map to read, but it kind of shows what the project route is from Mall Drive up to Gulf Drive. What we are still working on, we just finished the topographic survey last week, I believe. So what we're still looking at is what easements might be needed for the project. We're trying to get everything constructed within the right-of-way to the extent possible, but there may be areas where we're not able to do that. So we're still working through what easements will be required. Some project funding details. You can see the township funding for the right-of-way services. The PE, the CE, and then your construction match is currently a little bit under $1 million, a little bit under $900,000. The SEMCOG match, which we have a lovely check for here tonight, is a little over $1.4 million. The unknown, like I said, is going to be the right-of-way acquisition, since we have not identified exactly what that is yet. Because there's federal funds involved, we may have to purchase some right-of-way throughout the area. We will provide an update when we know that number is. But regardless, this grant is going to pay for 50 to 60% of the project costs. And then the project schedule, it was awarded in May of 2025. Kickoff meeting was held with MDOT. MDOT's also a partner in this project back in August. The survey update from this slide was just completed, so we're working on the plans, identifying right-of-way, any right-of-way procurement we plan on taking place first part of next year, bidding in late 2026 with construction coming in the summer of 2027. So that's all I have. I also have with me today Brian Davies, who's in the back. He's our design engineer for this project, so we are here to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board tonight?
No, just thank you for all your work on this. It's great, you know, the Safety Path's a great program, so.
It is, thank you.
Yeah, and taking 1.4 million grant. is,
Always good.
That's fabulous. Good work.
Yeah, it's good for the township. It's
Yeah.
a good thing, and much thanks to HRC. Brian Davies with HRC and his project management design did a spectacular job on the last project. We're excited to have him on this one as well. Special thanks to the folks at MDOT, Row Engineering, also managing the project with the township and HRC last year, integral, and also, and especially to SEMCOG and their support of our project. So, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Vitrano with SEMCOG.
Kevin, welcome.
Thank you so much. I first want to thank the board for being members of SEMCOG. This is what makes our job fun. And we appreciate you being longtime members of SEMCOG. For those who don't know, SEMCOG is a council of governments, currently of 186 local governments across the 7-county region, representing over 5 million people. We have several funding sources. Our Transportation Alternatives Program is probably my favorite and probably our favorite because of the connections it makes. It really is dedicated source of dollars to help connect people to their destinations, those that walk, those that bike, those that take transit, our roads, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that there's a program that is going to reach the entire region over the next number of years. Most of my notes were covered. You guys did a great job. This is such an important project. 1.4 million or 1.4 mile sidewalk gap connecting to critical aspects of both the township as well as neighbors in Pontiac. Access to transit was mentioned, as well as the Clinton River Trail, which is a critical regional trail network that we want to make sure that residents get to. It's one thing of connecting folks recreationally to those destinations, but making sure our residents in our neighborhoods can get to those critical assets. Another major point for SEMCOG is improving the safety of all of our transportation systems and our networks, and this is going to do that. So with that, I think we can do a check presentation potentially.
Okay, and I know there's a representative from Senator Peters' office. Would he like to come up and say hello and just introduce yourself? And there are 2 state reps here too?
Yeah, there's 2
Where are
state
they,
reps.
hiding back there? Oh, yeah.
Sharon and
Hi, Sharon.
Samantha.
Hi, Samantha.
Come on up.
Come on up, ladies, please. Yeah, thank you.
My name is Akash Kaluri. I'm with Senator Alyssa Slotkin's office. I'm the regional manager covering Oakland County. I've been in the position since June, but I'm basically the point of contact for our state office for anyone in Oakland County. So please, if there's anything you need, any way that our office can be of assistance, whether that's with grant support, whether there's an issue with the federal agency, or just if you have concerns, please feel free to reach out. I'll stick around after the meeting. Happy to pass out my business card as needed. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you. And make sure you tell Senator Peters thank you. We really appreciate the support. Samantha?
Oh, right.
Good evening, everyone. I'm State Representative Samantha Steckloff, along with State Representative Sharon McDonald with me. Just want to say congratulations. You know, so often, I come from local government, so often, you know, you're trying to manage these funds as best as possible. And it's really incredible that you take the time, that your staff is taking the time, that each one of you is taking the time to go after those matching funds. So I also want to thank SEMCOG for being here, all of your hard work, to our planners, as well as our representatives and our senators in Congress to help get these funds out.
Thank you. Sharon?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Everything has been said, but I'm Sharon McDonald. I'm the state rep for District 56, which includes parts of Troy, Clawson, Royal Oak, Birmingham, and just little old Precinct 10 in Bloomfield Township. This is just a wonderful program, and I am the chair of the Michigan Legislative Disability Caucus. So this kind of project is really critical to help people who cannot drive and who are taking public transit, and they really need to be able to get safely to and from our transit points. So I'm thrilled to hear about this, and I'm sure the seniors and people with disabilities are going to take great advantage of it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
all.
Thank you. And also, Samantha, I know you were big help on us getting a $1.5 million grant from the state. Yes. And I can't thank you, and we all thank you for your efforts, and Sharon, thank you for the support as well. All right. You got the check?
Yeah.
Here it is. All right.
Should all want to come down to the podium and hold together and big head.
Yeah, should we all go down there, or do you want to?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you know, Michael will probably run to the bank with that.
Come on.
I don't know that that's going to work through our scanners.
No, we're not.
All of us?
Sure. Come on. Anybody who feels like coming down. I'll go in the middle. And then, Mark, can you get in here? All right, you got us all? Are we all good? All right. That's wonderful, wonderful for our community.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, item number 5, public hearing, consider approval of site plan and special land use request from Academy of Sacred Heart, 1250 Kensington Road, presented by Andrea Bibby, our Director of Planning and Building Ordinance. I think I saw Andrea in the audience amongst all the people.
She's there.
Hi, Andrea.
Good evening. So what I have before you this evening is a request from the Academy of the Sacred Heart to install you can see located on the screen here, aerial of the property at 1250 Kensington, where the Sacred Heart is located. And the request that they have before you this evening is to install a new scoreboard as well as a storage shed on the southernmost portion of their property. As you can see highlighted on your screen here, the property is zoned R3, single-family residential. I'm trying to get this on the PowerPoint, sorry, slideshow. How do I get to the slideshow? Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So here you can see the precise location near the southerly lot line located next to their existing sports field. The application is for a 14-foot high scoreboard, as you can see the elevations provided, to be located on that south east corner of their sports field. And they also are proposing to install a 60-foot square foot shed. The color of the proposed shed is to be in the scheme that's shown there on the left-hand side, and a green color to match to kind of blend in with the surroundings. I do want to note that this did have an opportunity to go before the Planning Commission as well as the Zoning Board of Appeals. These are considered accessory structures. Accessory structures are required to be screened 12 months out of the year with evergreen plantings to meet or exceed the height of the structures at the time of installation. I do want to note that the applicant has provided a site plan and landscaping plan that does provide for the required screening to those neighbors to the south. I also want to note within your staff report, the applicant has indicated that this will be used for their athletic fields for games that occur after school hours. However, there are no lights on the field, so the use of the sports field is essentially relegated to daytime hours. So there will be no additional hours added other than what's currently existing. I also want to note that the Planning Commission, there was a discussion regarding the sound box and the attenuation that's coming from the proposed scoreboard. The Planning Commission made a condition at that meeting that they asked that the scoreboard is held to a maximum decibel reading of 70 dBH, not DBH, DB. DBH is for trees. So as to stay within the requirements of the Township sound ordinance. The applicant did have an opportunity to meet with the adjacent neighbors throughout the course of this application. When they first came to the Planning Commission back in August, there were some residents that attended and they had some concerns regarding some trees and the condition of some other things that were occurring on the Sacred Heart property. And I do want to note that the Sacred Heart did meet with those residents and was able to address their concerns successfully. And then based on that interaction, we did schedule the Planning Commission to have a public hearing again in September. And at that time, that is when this was forwarded on to the Zoning Board of Appeals for consideration for the accessory structures. That was approved and moved by the Zoning Board of Appeals onto the Township Board for your consideration. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Again, this is for the installation of a new digital scoreboard located at the southern end of the existing sports field. And we do have Paige. She is from Sacred Heart. She's here to answer any questions regarding the proposal. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions as it relates to this application.
Well, thank you, Andrea. Okay, any questions? Any comments? I think this is a great addition to the school. Mark, did you have a comment?
Yes, the
hearing.
70 dB decibel requirement.
Oh, excuse me, Mark, I'm sorry. This is a public hearing, my apologies.
Yeah.
So I have to open it up to the public. If you're to comment on this issue, now's your chance to come up to the podium and speak. We ask you to keep it within 3 minutes. Okay, I don't see anybody coming up for public hearing, so I'll close the public hearing and now open it up for comments or questions from the board. Mark, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. There's a train off of Kensington Road that goes by quite often. I'm north of there, and it's much further away. I hear that train all the time, the whistle's going. And I'm wondering, dB-wise, is the train going to be louder than the scoreboard?
That is something that I'm not well versed in terms of what the sound of a train versus, I don't know the decibel readings of the sound of a train, so I wouldn't be prepared to answer that question comparatively.
Yeah, I don't expect it to be
Yeah, I don't
louder
expect it
than-
to, I guess if that's your question, is would it be louder? I would doubt it, but again, that's really not my area of
I sat through the
expertise.
planning board and the zoning board on this issue, and they agreed on keeping it at a certain level.
You have the embankment, which would absorb a lot of the sound as it's going. Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great addition to the school.
Our enrollment's growing, the athletic programs are growing, so I think think it would be a nice addition for us.
I was just going to say, as with the previous TAP grant presentation, this is another example of just great collaboration between the surrounding neighbors and Sacred Heart, because certainly it came to the Planning Commission a couple of times, and there were a number of concerns, as Andrea had stated, and working with the surrounding neighbors, really, they were able to certainly come to an understanding and meet the concerns of the neighbors, so it's
Definitely want to maintain that partnership.
It was a win-win for everybody, so.
Any further comments or questions?
I just want to note in your staff report, as part of your consideration, was to make sure that the Sacred Heart does abide by their agreement that they made with those Legacy Hills neighbors, that they will replace some of the dead trees. So I just wanted to make sure that that was part of your consideration. I know that there was an agreement in the field, but that's something that we want to make sure that happens.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the site plan and the special land use.
As presented.
As presented.
Okay.
Support.
Okay,
Does that include the condition from the Planning Commission?
Correct.
Okay, all good? And their support? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes 6-0. Thank you.
Seven. Six. Oh, six, you're right.
That's right. I did 7 on the earlier.
You're right, you're right.
I
did too.
My mistake. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Got it.
All right, item number 6, consider awarding the 2025 Bloomfield Township Water and Sanitary Sewer Rate Study presented by Michael Shostak, our Township Treasurer. Michael?
Thank you. I am filling in tonight for Director Mahalski, who is tending to a family issue regarding this proposal. Just by way of background, in 2022, we did a similar study where we analyzed our rates. This is a water rate and our sewer rate, and the components of those rates and how we got them. We made some changes to the rates at that point. And we said at that point that it was really meant as an interim step to, and that's where the meter replacement program has come in, and the additional data feeds that we're getting, that we would have the opportunity within a couple of years to come back and reassess our rate structure. And so even though we as the township, the DPW has been using Ref Tellis, who was the consultant selected at that point in 2022 and did that rate study. We have been using them continuously. Since then, they provided consulting services each year. As we set our rates each year, we update the model that they built back in 2022. And so under the purchasing policy as a professional service, this is something that could just be awarded by DPW or by this board without going to bid. But we felt that, it was felt that we wanted to go out to bid once again to see what other providers could be out there and to make sure that we were getting the best consultant for the project. So earlier this year, Director Mahalski issued a request for proposals. It was put out on all of the usual channels that we issue our RFPs, and we received 3 sealed bids. And a committee was formed to analyze those bids and to determine and make a recommendation to this board. And based on that, based on the work of that committee, the recommendation to this board is to once again award Ref Tellis the contract to provide another rate study. Some of the things that we felt separated Ref Tellis from the other bidders was just their breadth of knowledge in this type of study, their experience with large systems, which was important. They have knowledge of our complexity, of our system and our history and the complexity of this area in the sense that we have one provider for water and another provider for sewer processing services. We felt that they had the strongest understanding of the engagement that we were asking for. We also felt that they were the only response that talked a lot about community input and stakeholder engagement, which as a committee we felt was very important as we set our rates, that we would, once again, as we did 3 years ago, reach out to the community with options and, sort of our thinking and open it up for engagement with the community in terms of setting our rates and the process that we would follow. And we thought that Ref Telus, not only did they do a great job last time, but they were the only submittal that addressed that important impact, the stakeholder engagement. So we also felt that they were the most responsive versus the other bidders. So that's why that recommendation to this board was to award the contract to Ref Telus. It is a not to exceed contract amount. And so that regardless of the number of hours or requirements that goes into this engagement, they've committed to not to exceed a certain number. And that number is
59,526, I think.
Thank you, Mark. 59,526 sounds about right. They also had the most substantive proposal in terms of, you don't just throw pages and things like this, but they had a lot of information in there, so theirs was the most responsive. So, yeah, I can't find the number, but
Okay, well, while you look it up, Michael, why don't we open it up for any
Yeah,
questions from the
please,
board?
yeah.
Any questions from the board about this?
It's the last page, of course, 59.
Forgot to look at that one.
So I guess just they were very responsive and responsible as our consultant the last time around. We certainly listened to them as needed, and we made some different decisions on our own that were contrary to the recommendations, which is fine, but they had a lot of good recommendations, and I thought they listened to the residents and certainly were very open to different ideas, and they were great to work with and communicated a lot.
So just to clarify, because some people might say, well, we did this big thing just in 2022. Several of us were sitting here. But because of going to the new meters and the new meter readings being much more responsive, that is why we are getting a new.
So as we talked about when we did the study last time, there were a couple things. Number one, there was talk of going to monthly billing versus quarterly billing, which we thought could be of tremendous value to the residents. And secondly, we talked about a different tiered rate structure, which at the time we didn't have, because we were quarterly billing and we only read the meters quarterly, we didn't have enough data to properly analyze the usage of the system to be able to come up with a tiered rate system. And so one of the big selling points in the meter replacement program is that now we get basically real-time, information from these meters. If you haven't yet, download the app if you have the new meter. I do, it's great.
Oh, the Ion Water app. We have caught 2 leaks at our house
Yeah,
in
so-
the past, less than a year since we've had
And so
that.
we get all of that data, and so we now can really see time of day usage and seasonality, and all of that data now makes it so that we can come back and really approach our rate structure differently. And so that's what's different this time, is having that data. We need to analyze that data. They have the expertise in doing that. The other thing that we wanted to look at, which we didn't do last time, is the possibility of investing in water storage. And they would do a business case analysis about an investment in water storage and what that would do for the system.
And what it would cost and.
And what it would, the return on investment, all that
Because
stuff.
that came up before too.
Yes.
So, yeah, I assume that, but just good for us to kind of get that
Yeah.
out in the open, that why are we doing another one? Because when we did that contract with them, there was a certain number of hours of follow-up every year that was already included in the contract.
Yes.
So when I first was reading my packet, I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's 8 hours a year, so
Right,
it
it's
wouldn't,
not a lot.
it's not for this level of detail, but the 8 hours that we have been using is to update the model each year with our consumption and forecasts and the rates that we get from GLEWA, et cetera. So that was,
do we know what percentage we're at with the new meters?
I don't. Maybe Paul, do you know?
Yeah,
Can you-
roughly 65
Because it would be important to not make any major decisions till we
Sure.
are at that point where we can use that data.
Yeah, we're currently roughly 65%
Okay, thank you.
done with the meter program.
And when do you expect completion?
I expect I say about another year, possibly by the end of next year, we'll be closer to the 90%.
Okay.
And when do we plan to start the study?
I think NOAA wants to get moving on it sooner rather than later, so that we have a new structure to put in place for our rates next March.
Great. All right,
March,
thank you.
When
Yeah, and
we
that-
do our rates in April, rather.
That Ion Water app
Yeah.
is like so much information. We literally caught 2 leaks
Yeah.
in the less
Big
than a year
savings.
since we had that information available. And, I knew all about it and I hadn't done it. I ran into a resident who was talking to me about how they caught this water issue with this app, and my husband was like, what's he talking about? And I go, oh yeah, there's this app. We went home and did it and found we immediately had a leak. And then we had another leak this summer.
Where were your leaks?
The one had something to do with the toilet valve more recently.
yeah.
We were actually out of town at our son's, and we were curious what was going on at home. We had somebody watching the house and watering for us, so my husband looked at the water app. He goes, what the heck's going on at our house? I said, oh, our friend's watering. And he goes, no, there's water, like every, another one was a tap of
Okay.
ours. So,
Makes a big difference.
yeah, I mean, we don't know how long it had been leaking. As soon as we checked the app, it showed us.
Wow.
And
That's
I talked to
wonderful,
Noah, and it was only like 1.2 gallons an hour or something. He's like, that's not a big leak. I'm like, yeah, when you think about it, how
Maybe you're
long
getting
was it?
charged.
Yeah,
Yep.
huge.
Okay,
So
any-
highly recommend. Thank you,
Any other
Michael.
comments?
So just some more, I had the privilege of being on the committee with Noah and Michael on this. Again, the big things were that this proposal was looking into that everything's on the table. So our residents keep talking about making sure that we don't leave any stone unturned. We talk about water tower, we talk about wastewater treatment in the township, or even explaining the options. So when we go talk to our residents about where our water rates and sewer rates are, we are completely transparent in looking at everything. And they were the only proposal that actually touched on all these things. The other proposals seem to be kind of just out of the box, off the shelf, this is what we give to everybody, where they actually specifically talked about all these. We spent a lot of time on an RFP, and they spent a lot of time responding to it. So I think they're gonna be great for us, and they understand what we're looking for in the scope of work, where other people are just trying to get our business. So they're a good partner to be with, not just a good consultant.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions?
Yes, regarding the requirements, will they be commenting on the significant increase in cash on hand for water and sewer that's happened over the last couple of years? We've gone from 15 million up to now 21 million. Would that be part of the conversation? I'd really like to understand how the rates that were set generated that much additional cash for the system.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? If not, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion that we approve and award the contract to Raftellus.
Support. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, it passes 6-0. And Michael, you don't get to vote twice.
I don't, as the temporary clerk, yeah.
Okay, now we'll go back to items A, C, D, and E. And Mark, why don't we start with item A, approve of the minutes from our October 27th board meeting?
Yes, item number 7, under the minutes for the UHY. We discussed township policies, not practices, accounting policies, and policies, not practices. So I'd like to amend the minutes from practices to policies. And I would like to also add that the policies were not included as part of the scope of the audit.
I'll comment on that. Accounting practices is what an audit does. It makes sure that we're in alignment with GAAP, which stands for the Generally Accepted Accounting Practices or Procedures. I mean, I don't know if you're just focusing on semantics. But in terms of policies, I mean, did we address policies? Yeah, there are policies that are included in what, I mean, an audit looks at our credit card policy. An audit looks at and did we follow it? Our audit looks at our expense reporting policy, and did we follow it? So, I mean, policies are addressed as part of an audit, and accounting practices are.
I asked several questions about policy, and I was told that policies were not part of the audit.
Well, certain policies aren't. So I don't know which policies you're referring to. If you're talking about the interest policy and how it's allocated, that would not be part, because that's a policy that this board sets. But policies that they do look at, like I said, would be like the credit card policy, the expense reporting policy, the purchasing policy, all of those things would be included as part of the audit. But so, I mean, it may not be specific policies.
Okay, so Mark has a motion, is that right, Mark, to make an adjustment to that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I do have one other question for Treasurer Shostak. When we approved the last budget of the year, it included a line item for the last fiscal year, and the transfers out were under $15 million.
Was
But
that in the minutes for what you were referring to?
That is, but we're talking about practices
We're talking
and
about the minutes.
policies.
Talking about the minutes.
We're talking about the minutes.
The minutes. So
First of all, I don't understand your question. You're talking about the budget, the approval of the budget.
Because there was a comment made by the auditors that the transfers were consistent with the budget, and it's not based on what's on the website. The transfers out of the general fund are in excess of what was approved in the budget.
Okay.
Okay, so you're taking issue with something that the auditor said.
What I'm saying is there's an inconsistency with what's on the township website and what the auditor said, and if it's about practices, that would be a practice, not a policy.
Okay. All right, so you're making a motion?
Yeah, I don't.
And I don't follow it
I guess
either.
I don't understand the.
Okay, so is there support for Mark's motion? Okay, there's no support, so the motion is not approved.
Make a motion, we approve the board minutes of October 27th, 2025 as presented.
Okay, support?
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, 5-1. Okay, Mark, item number C, the Lutz Relief Drain Extension, correction of funding source.
Yes, as I went through it, I could not identify, it looked like the amount that was being paid out is increasing. From the original estimates to now we have a new one at 1.1. We thought the original was 700,000.
So all this item seeks to do is I met with Corey and the finance director, and we were talking about the fact that it was determined that the original payment source, which was the Drains at Large Fund, was not a proper expenditure under it, and so it'll be moved to the general funds accounting system, contracted R&M stormwater fund. But that's the only change. Nothing else changes about the contract.
Okay. was that part of the 1.1 million that was delayed and moved into the capital improvement fund?
This moves no money around, this just changes the funding source, so I'm not clear what exactly you're talking about.
Okay.
Jason might be able to answer that.
Well, have we issued the contract on this? Isn't, well, Corey already left, but I'm not sure that we issued the contract on this.
Okay. Because I thought we moved 1.1 million because a project was delayed, and I was wondering
Yeah,
if this was
this,
the one.
no, that was a paving project.
Okay.
That was a paving project that wasn't completed before the end of the fiscal year, and so it had to move into the next fiscal year.
So
And it was 1.1 million, but that's a coincidence.
But it's a different, okay.
It's a coincidence.
Okay.
Okay.
And do we have to amend the budget?
Well, no, this is just a contractual, we're just changing the item, we're not changing any dollars here.
I think this would be in next year's budget, though.
Yeah, I
Which we
believe-
haven't approved yet.
Okay.
I believe that's correct, yes.
Reconsideration of the.
We haven't issued. that
Project cost
contract.
estimate, it's just a cost estimate.
Okay.
We haven't approved a we haven't awarded a contract and we haven't budgeted, it's, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so move to approve item number C, the Lutz Relief Drain Extension Correctional
moved.
Funding Source.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes 6-0. Item number D, the introduction of a lot split request in connection with the site plan for the Enclave Residential Development, 7400 to 7200 Telegraph Road. Mark?
Yes, I think Mr. Gagnon had a lot of good questions, and he's been seeking answers. He comes to the meetings. I think he deserves an answer to his questions before we make an approval. I do know that there are a lot of items still under consideration for the development. And I think we should table this until things are clarified.
Totally off base. One has nothing to do with the other. I mean, we're talking about a lot split versus a site plan presentation, totally different. And so one is the site plan issue that you're discussing may be open items. There may or may not be. I'm not disputing that. But that's a different issue entirely, totally irrelevant. So all we're talking about is a date to have the site plan presented and considered. That's all we're talking about.
Lot split.
Lot split.
Lot split, excuse me. Lot split. So two different issues.
We're not considering the request tonight, all we're doing is setting a hearing.
All we're doing is what?
Setting a hearing.
Setting the hearing.
For,
We're not approving.
for the lot split,
We're not
yeah.
approving a lot split today. What we're
Okay.
doing is setting a hearing. So if we
Okay.
delayed it, then it would be delaying when that hearing would be as well. So I don't know if you'd be able to provide the additional information. It
But-
still gives you a chance to talk to Andrea about these questions, but this still only allows us to hear all the presentation.
I'm happy to answer Chris's questions right now.
Well, I think that's
Yeah,
great, because
sure.
that's what
Yeah.
what I was gonna ask, because Chris had mentioned some things that are separate from what you guys are talking
Sure.
about in terms of abutting residential
Yeah,
property. and
based on
different
yeah,
things.
I'm prepared.
So the more clarification we get, awesome, thank you.
Okay, so this is a corner lot, as we're all familiar with the Temple Bethel site. It's not uncommon in the township, but we have a corner lot that we've got two front yards. We've got the front yard, which would be Telegraph Road. We've got the front yard, which would be 14 Mile, okay? There's also, in this instance, we have two side yards. We don't really have a rear yard, okay? So we've got two side yards. Side yard would be to the north, which would be abutting the proposed Enclave development. Side yard would be to the west, which would abut to the Birmingham Farms subdivision, and then I stated the front. In regards to the lot split consideration, our lot split ordinance is very clear in terms of the consideration of that 500 foot. I can read it directly from the lot split ordinance. All residential lots formed or changed by the division shall have a lot width and lot area as defined in all zoning chapters of not less than the average lot width and average lot area of all residential lots fronting on the same street within 500 feet of the lots formed or changed and within the same zoning district. Lots separated by a major thoroughfare will not be included. If you look at the zoning map, we consistently, in our lot splits, we consider the fronting, as it states, residential lots fronting on the same street. There are no residential lots in the same zoning district that are within 500 feet that front on either Telegraph Road or 14 Mile, okay? They either face interior to the subdivision. There are no single-family R1 zone lots within 500 feet that would be considered as part of the averaging. So that, I think that answers that question. And I also want to note that the Glens immediately to the east, as well as the other residential zoning to the north past the single family of the Birmingham Farms, is multiple family residential. The lot split clearly states within the same zoning district. So, and then lastly, I just want to state that as part of the consideration for the lot split, similar to when we come to you with a single family residential lot, we have to confirm that the changes to that existing lot, in this case it'd be the temple, we have to confirm that that temple layout and the resultant site plan of that temple meets the requirements of places of worship. That's the use. And we certainly are able to do that and comply with the required setbacks. And it does meet the bulk standards and regulations, and that will be provided in more detail when we get to the public hearing. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Andrea. Any further questions with Andrea here as it relates to this item?
Setting the hearing?
No, I do have one other question for Andrea regarding the split. We approved a development at South Boulevard and.
Squirrel, the Noble?
And, yes, the Noble.
Correct.
And that one allowed common use on the property between zoning areas. So from a common use standpoint, wouldn't that change some of those requirements?
I'm not sure because those are two very different items. In that instance with the Noble,
That was
there
with
was
the clubhouse
actually
and the pool.
there was actually a zoning ordinance amendment to allow for accessory uses related to a multifamily residential development. That's very different. In this instance, I'm not sure what you're talking about, community use. It's a place of worship. So the uses are different.
And I can vouch for Temple Bethel. I've been in there and I've sat through
You've worshipped.
worship there.
Thank you. So they're different classifications.
Okay.
And purposes.
So, Andrea, I just want to say thank you very much for taking the extra time to do that. Again, when you see, there are residential lots but they don't have frontage on Telegraph.
Correct.
It's Cedarbrook, or it's Glen Grove, or it's St. Auburn Drive. So
Correct.
they're interior, so none of them are on the same road, which then is how we look at the ordinance. So,
And that's how we've consistently done it over the years, so thank you, yes.
so I appreciate you pointing that out, because again, some people would think those residents are. That's not their front yard, that's their side yard.
Correct.
So that's how it doesn't, that's why this doesn't work. That's why I appreciate taking the extra time to explain that.
Okay, any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes 6-0. Okay, item number E, approve payroll and vouchers for November 10th, 2025. Mark?
My standing no vote stands, and then I also wanted to mention that the financial report on, quarterly report on March 31st, 2025, showed that the township general funds were, revenue was 28.5 million. The audit says 23.5. That's a significant variance. So again, from an accounting standpoint, I'm concerned that funds are being commingled to pay bills. And because of the incompleteness of of those statements, I have to vote no. I also think the water and sewer meter replacement project was only approved for $300,000, and there was no requirement when that $300,000 was approved stating how much was going to be spent on the light meter fees for the monthly payments, which are supposed to go up to $20,000. So my no vote stance on the payroll and
Okay,
vouchers.
make a motion?
I would like to just speak to one thing on
Yeah,
this.
go ahead.
I appreciate what you're saying on the no vote. I think the commingling of funds is an inappropriate use. Jason Tyne's been our finance director for 15 years. He's a certified public accounting person. There's only 15 in the state that had that certification. I don't think he put his reputation or his certification on the line for any of that kind of stuff. So I think that's not an appropriate thing to say to one of our employees. So I can appreciate your no vote on some of the stuff, I really do, and I appreciate you standing by that, but talking bad or ill will about some of those, that I don't believe is appropriate. So,
Well, again, there is a $5 million variance between the audit and the quarterly report.
and again, they're always willing to come talk to you or meet with them. I met with different managers recently so that we could speak and I had questions. So they took the time, and I took time out of my day to go meet with them so I could go through all my issues, so that I didn't have to bring it up like this.
Right, help
and that would
help
have
you better
effects.
understand the situation, maybe clarify it for you, Mark.
I did, he gave me all the reports. There's no transfers of fees.
Well, I think your interpretation is much different than what we all see in practice. But I appreciate your comments, and the door's always open for you to come in and sit down with Jason or Michael and myself and walk through this, and maybe we can help educate you a little bit better on it.
And I just want to say, I have to agree with Chris, and glad you said that, because I would have said the same thing. You certainly, of course, Mark, entitled to whatever you want to say, and your opinion, and your vote, but I do take exception with the word commingling. It's really an ethically charged word, and I'm concerned when you're throwing our finance director under the bus, in which he doesn't deserve. He's certainly a person of integrity, and I do take exception to that
Well,
word.
The $5 million is a big difference between the audit and the
I
quarterly
take an
report.
exception to the word commingling.
Well, it was pretty clear in the investment report, all the funds are together,
Okay.
right? It's all together. Everything goes into one investment account, the general fund.
I would like to make a motion that
Go
we
ahead.
approve the payroll vouchers as submitted.
Okay,
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Passes 5-1. And that leads us to item number 7. Val,
Motion, we adjourn.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.